What's up, guys? So I wanted to talk about becoming Einstein for this new role I've accepted of Einstein in Picasso at the Lapin Agile. It's a community theater play, so I'm not getting paid anything, but I still need to be dedicated to the role. That would be why I grew my hair so long, and that's also why I'm growing my beard out, because unfortunately, I'm gonna need a mustache. So in this video, I do want to talk a bit about becoming Einstein and just dedication to a role in general, maybe go over some of the other roles that I've had. But right now, I'm gonna go get all of this cleaned up and just have the mustache, and I will see you in a second. And voila, I am stashed and ready to go for Einstein. And I guess it's time to kind of describe what it took to get into this role, and any other role in general. And I'm gonna talk about my other roles that I've had, but I think I'd rather do that on my bigger camera, so we're gonna go back to that one. And there you have it. So I am with my bigger camera and a bit better quality, just so you can maybe see this awful mustache that I have on my face right now. I'm just checking the monitor to see if you can see it. It's gross. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I was making fun of myself the entire time I was at the barbershop. Yes, I went to a barbershop to get this done because I didn't trust myself not to mess it up. So I want to talk about Einstein and some of the research I had to do for it, and in general what the play is about and other roles that I've done. So let's cut right to the point. Einstein was a lot different than this version of Einstein, but he's still a lot different than who I thought he was. I kind of saw Einstein as this like pathetic little worm because he was this science dude who didn't really, other than science, I'd never heard much about his contributions to history. I didn't really see him as a philanthropist. I didn't see him as anything other than that nerdy science dude who came up with the theory of relativity. I didn't know that much about him. I'd seen like quotes of his, like those cliche motivational quotes of his every now and then. So I didn't take Einstein as what he actually is. So in my research, I learned he was a bit of a player. I learned he was a bit of a womanizer, and there is a theory that his first wife actually helped him write the theory of relativity, but it's not confirmed, so let's just say, for all intents and purposes, that Einstein wrote that. But that's still saying that Einstein is very different than the version of Einstein that I'm playing in the play. So the play, once again, is Picasso at the Lapin Agile. It's a Steve Martin written play, so it's funny, it is a comedy. But this Einstein is almost like a caricature of himself. He is more of a womanizer, he's more of a conceited dude than from what I gathered, he was in real life. And it's interesting seeing his dynamic between him and Picasso, because their relationship in the play grows. It starts off as them really butting heads, you know, I'm an artist, I'm a scientist, and they don't have much respect for each other. But over time, they start to see each other as a scientist and an artist, and they really start to see that there's more to their fields than they thought, and they've got more in common than they had originally thought, which is cool. I really enjoy this play. I don't enjoy this mustache. I was kind of hoping we'd go with a fake one, but we're not. And not a wig either. But that's kind of cool. Like it's the most immersed I've ever gotten for a role, which is cool. So let's go back and talk about my other roles that I've had, and kind of give you a bit of a backstory on myself as an actor, because in the grand scheme of things, actor, director, filmmaker, those are things that I want to do with my life. So it'd be cool to let you guys in on all of that. So my first ever role was going on 3 years ago now. It was in Sherlock Holmes in the West End Horror. It's again a comedy, but more of a darker comedy. I didn't enjoy the script that much for that one. That one was my first show. I was what felt like a small part, and then it grew into a bigger one. So I played 2 big roles and then 2 like little ones because we didn't have a huge cast. I played Constable Hopkins, who was the only cop that Sherlock Holmes would trust, the only cop he would trust at all, and he kind of saw a bit of himself in Hopkins. And then I also played Dr. Eccles, who I didn't know this when I auditioned, but I found out that Eccles was actually the villain of the play, which was cool. I thought it was a blast playing a villain, but there wasn't a lot of depth to the character. I was kind of only in 2 or 3 different scenes as the villain. There wasn't a whole lot of growth in a 3-hour play. So you would have thought that there'd be more, but it was more of a mystery. And then my second show was called Death by Design. And again, it was a murder mystery comedy, but I had a bigger role in that one. I played a character named Jack, and he was the chauffeur in this murder mystery comedy where it was a whodunit, who killed the dude in the room. And when I auditioned, I didn't know that Jack was that significant. I also didn't know for a very long time, because I never read the script until like 2 weeks before we started rehearsing, that I was also the murderer, or alleged murderer. I didn't realize that until I finished the play, but that was a blast. I really enjoyed that play. That probably still is my favorite that I've done. And then my third play was Cinderella, actually. I did that it was released in November of 2016, and I played Prince Charming. And that was a lot of fun. It was a kids show, so it was a pantomime. I got to interact with kids a lot, but it wasn't serious, and I surprisingly didn't have a lot of lines. Surprisingly, Cinderella didn't have a lot of lines. The person who had the most lines was the Queen, oddly enough. But it was still fun. My nephew got to see my show, which was cool. I had a lot of friends come out and support me, also really cool. But now this show, Picasso at the Lapinagio, it's a lot more, it's for a bigger theater company, it's for a higher level production value, I guess. This is also the first time I've ever played a real character. So it was interesting getting to do the research, going to the barber shop with a picture of Einstein saying, can you make my mustache look like his? I've got a month to go. The show isn't until March 8th, but I'm getting a headshot done on Sunday for the show, so I needed the mustache. Maybe in Photoshop we can make it a bit bushier, but hopefully by March 8th, this is thicker. And this is longer, like I'm not the biggest fan of having my hair this long. I hate it touching my ears. The lady at the barbershop cleaned up my neck and everything a little bit. Awesome lady. Jody did a wonderful job. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the immersion, getting into these roles. This role in particular. This is my first role without an accent. Her second role, Cinderella, didn't have one, but I don't even count that. This is my first show without a British accent, which I really appreciate. We're not even going with German, just so that the audience can fully understand me. But it is the most immersed that I've gotten into it. I've done a lot of research, and oddly enough, Legends of Tomorrow, the DC show, did an episode where Einstein was featured, which actually really helped me because they portrayed him as the womanizer that he was. So that was super, super, super helpful to get an idea of how he walked, how he talked, how he looked when he was with women, the conceited air about him. And I'm not saying I'm a super serious actor because, again, I'm not an actor. I'm not doing film or television yet, but this is the most serious production that I've been involved in, and it's really, really cool working with such professionals, and working with a director that gets us as immersed as we have been. 2 out of my 4 shows have been with the same director, and I absolutely love this guy. He is, I consider him a good friend. I'm actually going to see his new play tonight, but the problem is, I almost feel like there's a bit of nepotism when he cast me. Cinderella felt like there was a bit of nepotism as well. The director of that saw Death by Design and pretty much gave myself and another cast member Prince Charming and Cinderella. She just said we had to audition out of formality, and we did. There was other people auditioning, so there was still the shot that we wouldn't get it, but we went in pretty confident that we would. So I was a little, I didn't feel like I had earned a role yet. That's why every time I got a no in an audition, I was so excited. I loved hearing no, which I know most people are like, why the hell would you like hearing no if you're trying to act? I loved it because it felt like I was a real actor. It felt like I was in the process. Everyone hears no. You can't imagine that you'd be what the director wants every single time, because it might not even be about your talents. It might not even be about your voice or your look. You could just not be exactly what they were looking for. If they were looking for a blonde-haired, blue-eyed dude who was 6'5" and jacked, and I went into an open audition, I'm not gonna get it, and I'm cool with that. I'm confident in my talents. I'm confident in my abilities. But it's really awesome to hear no, because it feels like I'm partaking in the process, and I loved it. I loved hearing no. I've gotten no twice, so out of, I guess I've had 6 auditions. Yeah, I've had 6 auditions, and twice I've heard no, and those were actually my favorite opportunities to hear no, to hear that I wasn't what they were looking for, because it felt more like I was a real actor, and that was a blast. So if anyone watching this is an aspiring actor, embrace the no. Embrace the fact that you're not going to be what they're looking for 100% of the time, and that's okay too. That should even be more exciting, because It leaves you open for other opportunities. That's how I saw the no's. It meant that I could do something else. I wouldn't have been able to do Cinderella had I accepted another role, so it worked out in my favor. Also, the reason why I'm so confident in my abilities, my first show I actually won an award for. Alright, so this is my award. Seeing if it's in focus. Yeah. So they actually, it was for Most Promising New Talent of 2014 to 2015. The problem with this award is they misspelt my last name, so I put like a green sticky with my proper spelling on it, but they were notorious for spelling my name wrong. But yeah, so I won the award there. I was nominated for Death by Design, which was really cool. Like, that's why, you know, when you hear no, it doesn't mean you're not good. I've heard no twice out of 6 auditions, and I still won this. I still was nominated for Death by Design, and I still got Picasso with the Lapin Agile. So it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm bad if I hear a no. It just means that I'm not what they're looking for. So if you're hearing no, if you're an aspiring actor, embrace them. Embrace every single time you hear no, because it is amazing. It just means that another opportunity can be opened up. So work hard and keep going, because after this show, I'm gonna take a little break and then step into film and television. So I wanna get an agent and see what I can do there. And I wanna direct plays as well in the future. So I want to be ever evolving and continue growing. And next up is I would like to go to film school. I never thought I would say that, but maybe I'll cover that in another video. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe. It means more than you think it does. I know Justin Escalona says that all the time, but it's true. It does mean a lot more than you think it does. So thank you for watching. Once again, please like and subscribe, and I will see you later.